Got it! He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still start dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it! Big Barry!
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world. And thanks again for joining me for the Porsche Cup Challenge America. Like I said, today, or last week I said, we're going to the Temple of Speed. And as you can see, we are at the Temple of Speed. This track is an interesting one, of course, going down into Rettifilo. Turn 1 and 2, it's going to be interesting. Usually, that's the corner where most of the issues occur at the start of a race. Like I said, Dean Biggles in the commentary with me tonight as well. And, well, just like last week, we will provide you with all the action. Of course, race number 1, 15 minutes. Race number 2, 30 minutes long. Before that, though, we will experiment a closed qualifying here this evening. So a different qualifying than usual. So not the open qualifying with 4 laps. No, just a closed 15 minutes qualifying. Still 4 laps, but not with everyone on track. Just everyone has the track to themselves. I think it's time to bring the one and only legendary man from down under into the booth. Dean Biggles, welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes, it was a short flight over, well, no, a very long flight actually from Melbourne, of course, for the Formula 1 GP this weekend. But here in the Temple of Speed, no doubt, in Monza, it should be up for a bit of a classic. Some of these drivers, we've seen them before. Just in the practice session, have a couple of moments at a couple of those highlighted parts of the track. And Dan, yes, the Americas, of course, being, we're going to have American drivers, Costa Rican driver, we have Canadian drivers, we have a couple of Aussies that are in here, including myself, but a couple of Australian drivers, and that's practically where you have the drivers from around this part of the world. Something else I wanted to mention there, Dan, I've just thrown myself completely off on that one. Just so much racing, so much action, entertainment. Yeah, the qualifying sessions you mentioned. I like this format. I do. We'll see if this is going to pan out.
Well, I don't know. Of all the tracks to test it at, this wouldn't be the best one, I feel, because if there's one track where everyone is going to run together and where you can really test the format of having everyone out on track with 4 laps, it's this track. You don't want to run on your own here. You want to have slipstream. So, I don't know. Difficult one. But, of course, they've decided that they're going to do it here. The drivers just have to deal with it. And I mean, it just makes for an even more equal qualifying. Everyone has an equal chance now. No drivers will be left out without any slipstream, because basically no one will have any slipstream here this evening. But of course, I just want to quickly run back over what happened last week at Virginia International Raceway. What a race that was, really, Biggles. Of course, in qualifying, Patrick Hingston took the pole position out of Xander Reid and Bryce Rodriguez in P3. Now in race 1, Patrick Hingston under immensely pressure from Xander Reid. Xander did not get past. Patrick Hingston took the victory. Start the flag victory basically for Patrick Hingston. Xander Reid also kept his second place. However, it was the one and only Aiden Young, race winner, of course, at Brands Hatch, who took 3rd place there. Xander Reid, though, did get his revenge in race number 2, finished ahead of Patrick Hinks, so P1, Xander Reid, Patrick Hingston, P2, and Michael McLeod in P3. So all in all, not a bad evening there. And let's see, Biggles, what that has done to the championship, because as you can see, in the pro standings, Michael McLeod is leading the way, even though he only got 1 podium finish last time, rather, and Xander Reid on the same amount of points, as we do know go into qualifying. Troy Fenelon finishes or stands in 3rd on the same points as Charlie Pouillet. So basically P1 and 2 in the same points, P3 and 4 in the same points. So it's all shaping up rather nicely, isn't it here, Biggles? Samuel Sproul in P5, Adam Morrow in P6, Errol Julian 7th, Dylan Vanderbeek in 8th, Carl Ribbing in 9th, Michael Carrillo in P10, Adam Schmidt in P11, Mikey Warnick in P12, Rob Rodriguez P13, P14 Patrick Kingston, and in P15 Dan Moreira. Now there is so much to go through here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, that I can't go through it all in once, so I am just going to show it to you really quickly via this way. We're just going to scroll through, so just to give everyone a chance, basically, Biggles, to try and see where their favorite driver is.
Good point. Absolutely. There is quite a bit there. Some doubles up on the screen there. It could just be me.
Yeah.
Drivers are going to be out on the screen at the moment to make their qualifying session. As you said, so it's a closed qualifying session. They'll be out on the track by themselves, but there'll be other cars around, and just unfortunately, once again, will not be just using that slipstream tow. But it's the same for everybody here at the Temple Speed, so that'll be something that you won't be able to use to your advantage if you have practiced, you have rehearsed how to get tuck in behind there and try to break that. Well, it's break the air, the dirty air, and all that sort of jazz. We'll see. Not the dirty air, it's the clean air you ought to be breaking. I'm a little rusty tonight there, Dan, as you're pulling up all those championship standings. Of course, Michael McLeod there. 110 points separating those two.
This is the Pro Championship.
Still early days, of course. We're in round 3, so you got plenty of time to go. I wouldn't be stressed at all, any of those drivers in the top 18. Maybe if you get around where Aaron is starting to say, okay, we've got to get a couple of wins here now if we want to be battling it out with the top guns. But,
well, this is the Pro Championship. I mistakenly said the last one was the Pros, but that was the overall championship. So Michael McLeod, of course, leading the way in the Pro class. Sander Reed second, Troy Fenelon in third. Charlie Peer in fourth, Samuel Sproul fifth, Adam Morrow sixth, Ariel Julian in seventh. Eighth, Dylan Vanderbeek. Ninth, Michael Carrillo. 10th, Adam Schmidt, Mikey Warnick in P11, Patrick Kingston, P12, Bryce Rodriguez, P13, Aiden Young, P14, Mark Lampert, P16. Just quickly going over all the drivers that have points. Colby Warren in P16 also on 34 points. Tyler Anderson, Aaron Hall also have scored points. And the last one to score points in the pros is Alexander Wilford in P19. Quickly then, the last championship of all three of them, the AM Championship. Carl Ribbing is leading the way there ahead of Rob Rodriguez in P2, Dan Moreira in P3, Jeremy Littleton in P4, Charles Edward 5th, 6th Gary Watson, 7th Jeffrey Seabok, 8th Drew Stanley, 9th Sean Mulholland, Jonathan DeKusher in P10, Michael Blaze in P11, John Krauser in P12, Hayden Bush P13, 14th Matthew Winkoff, 15th Mark Darnell, Benjamin Harris P16, Shannon Motherell in P17, Patrick Hingston in P18. A little bit further down, Jean William in P19, P20 for Luigi Santiago. And the last to score points is Rafa Casacurta with 2 points, together actually with Chris Gangaro also on 2 points. A lot to go through there. Let's get finally down to the track, Biggles, to see how the drivers are doing at the moment. No times set yet. However, though, Luigi Santiago is going to look to set a quick lap time here. Quickest underway at the moment is Xander Reed. 2 purple sectors for the man. Aiden Young jumps up into pole position. But Xander Reed is going to come through. He's going now through Ascari. Only Parabolica to go. Don't off-track that and you have a good lap, Biggles. Oh
yeah, I'm going to get in the multiple lines you can take into Curva Parabolica or Curva Alboreto, as it was recently sub-named to. You can see both those cars almost identical, flying their way through Ascari. You want to get the car just lifted a little bit, not too much, so you don't screw up too much speed. You can see getting a good exit. You want to get out a little bit, I think, onto the chicane, exiting out of the Parabolica, but it's not necessarily having to be that. It depends on your entrance and exits, but there's the times coming up on the board there. 149 is the benchmark set by Corey, the New Zealander. Welcome along, Corey. He's not going to get it. Corey, of course, he is on a 149.174. Xander Reed not going to get it. Purple in sector 4 and 5 was Corey Lazarus. So he probably got a really, really good run coming out of Ascari into Parabolica. That's, of course, where those last sectors I was running into Ascari and running into Parabolica, or Alboreto, as you want to call it. Both corner names are right. That's what Biggles and I almost called you James there, what Biggles and I were talking about in the green room. Technically, it's just all
basically corner names that are correct, both of them, because they haven't renamed it. They just added the name to the corner, which I haven't seen done a lot. Usually they rename it, but both names are actually correct. Bryce Rodriguez jumps up though into the pole position on a 148.973. Exactly, Biggles, 2/10 ahead of what Lazarus has done.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It was a lot to go through at the moment. The qualifying session, so Rodriguez up at the top of the timesheets. Forget about our Blackout sponsor, of course, the Blackout Motorsports New Zealand team, but your Blackout Electrical Solutions, of course, you'll find that in Queensland itself, in Brisbane, and they'll take care of any of your industrial, commercial needs for electrical systems. Oh, power slide, you can see there from Corey. Really putting the power down there. That'll be an off track, I'd have to say.
Yeah,
close
it is.
to it.
Yeah, it is for Corey Lazarus. Rodriguez is, like I said, gone up into the pole position on 148.973. Behind that, though, a lot of drivers improving in the pole position of the AM class. Jeremy Littleton, actually, who's in the pits. Jeremy Littleton after that first lap. Shannon Monteiro, who's going to try and improve. He needs about a couple of tens, and he just about gets it. P5 overall for Shannon, but crucially, it's pole position in the AM class by just, well, almost a 1/10 of a second. 700ths, a little bit more of a second, that one. And a good lap there for Shannon Monteiro. And that gives him pole position in the AM class, Biggles.
Yeah, a bit of PBB, or Cerveza, my friend. That's the advertising he has on the car. It gives you a little bit of a boost around Italy. Enough at least to get you in the top of the AM classes. Rodriguez goes even quickest. Bruce Rodriguez, so he wants to secure the deal on the pole position. I'll tell you what, that's not a bad place to be as well, too, in Italy, mate. Going in turn one, you want to be essentially on the front row. And at the moment, it looks like he might be next to Alexander Reed. See, as the time's ticking, most of the drivers have put their laps in. There's only a few more to go.
Well, I think only 2 laps for the drivers here, really. Everyone has only done 2 laps. So I expect that the drivers are only able to do 2 laps and not the normal 4 laps. Also, qualifying session a bit shorter than we expected. 8 minutes only for the drivers to set their lap times. Welcome in once again, everyone. 60 minutes left of the qualifying. Shannon Monteiro is once again going to try and go quicker. Is he going to be able to do that, though? No one really improving out on track to challenge the overall pole position. Neither is Shannon Monteiro. But he's going to at least try and improve that pole position he has in the AM class. Doesn't get to it. Doesn't get to the finish line. And that is the starting order set. 29 drivers gonna be out on track. Let's look at the grid for this evening. It will be Bryce Rodriguez, as you could see in qualifying, on a 148.682 in the pole position, ahead of Xander Reed, finishing off the front row. Corey Lazarus and Ian Young on the second row, P3 and 4 respectively. Shannon Monteiro in all AM, third row, not bad for the AM drivers. Jeremy Middleton and Shannon Monteiro sharing the third row of the grid. Fourth row of the grid in 7 and 8, Adam Schmidt and Adam Morrow. 9th in the field, and P3 in the AM class, Aaron Hall, Ryan Windfield in P10, 11 Samuel Sproul, of course he did well last time round, and 12th Colby Warren, 13th, let's do to 13th first before 14th, Michael Carrillo in P13, Troy Fenelon in P14, Carl Ribbing in P15, 16th for Dylan Vanderbeck, excuse me, Tyler Anderson in P17, Dan Moreira in P18, Gary Watson P19, Rob Rodriguez in P20, P21 for Matthew Wyckoff, P22 for Mark Lampert, 23rd for Jean Rivera, Sean Mulholland in P24, Charles Edward P25, Hayden Bush P26, Young Cho in P27, Jordan Miller in P28, and Luigi Santiago starting on the last row of the grid. Let's head down through the grid. Here is our pole sitter, Bryce Rodriguez. He will be looking to get a good start. It's crucial, Biggles, he gets a good start, because if he doesn't, he could put himself into danger down into turn 1.
Oh, turn 1 is absolutely dangerous here, and not just that, it's what's happening behind you. We'll find out in a second. Dan, get ready to get some pineapple on your pizza or not. It's a Italia.
We're green, green, green. at Circuit di Monza, the Temple of Speed. Bryce Rodriguez does get a good start. Xander Reed already trying to push him to the inside. Both trying to get forward. It's going to be Corey Lazarus challenging him for the lead, though, around the outside of the Rettifilio. Has the inside for the second part. Is he going to make it stick? A pass for the lead at the beginning. No, it's going to be Bryce Rodriguez who has the run through, well, around the outside. Mayhem at the first chicane. A pile up and a half. A car park and a half. Everyone is stopped at the Rettifilio. And well, it looks like it is going to be Ryan Winfield who's come out worse. Still though, Bryce Rodriguez leading the way. Corey Lazarus already trying to fight him into the Della Roggia chicane. Xander Reed though, Biggles has lost the position so far for most drivers we got through cleanly.
Aiden Young went straight on too. I saw that out of Ascari. I think it was. No, it wasn't actually. We're a little bit early on that one. But yes, it's motor racing. It was a bit of a pile up there before. It was a car completely stopped on track. You saw it. You caught that in the pictures. We'll get that maybe a little bit back on the replay of that one later. But nowhere to go. And at the Temple of Speed, of course, everybody's got the loud pedal. Here we go. Now Ascari. I'll get that one right correctly as we're riding right now on board there with Xander Reed. And see how they take it. You don't want to hit the chicane, the extra lift off the chicane. You'll lift that car up into a Skyborn further back in the field here. That's Shannon and Jeremy.
A change for the lead in the Amcos.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if there was a lift off there where it's a little bit too deep through Ascari or not. Or maybe had to gift a place back. Interesting stuff. But that's the lap one done. So you're going to get through the craziness here at Monza.
Well, lads, let's get used to this side, because this is what you're going to see for the rest of the race. I think it is going to be a slipstream train, and the driver at the front of that slipstream train is going to be most susceptible to a move, because it seems like Corey Lazarus really wants to get past Bryce Rodriguez. However, Bryce Rodriguez just creating enough of a gap for Corey Lazarus not to be able to attack at the end of a straight through Curva Grande. Gap is about 3/10, still not enough, I think, to go forward into the Della Roggia. Needs to be gaining substantially here. He is going to defend his Bryce Rodriguez just a little bit. Just saying, I don't want you to go for a move here, and he is not. Wyckoff, a little bit further back in the field, is close to Mark Lampert. He will be able to go for a move. Is he going to go outside or inside for the Della Roggia? He's going to stick behind. That's the answer for Matthew Wyckoff. Does not try and risk it going into the Della Roggia. A little bit further back, there was a car going off in the background. I think that is Aaron Hall, is it not? Yes, it is Aaron Hall. He is off together with Gary Watson, I think, or Troy Fenelon. Yeah, it is Troy Fenelon. So both of those drivers off at the Della Roggia. And once again, an easy corner to do that. Really, Biggles, easy to go deep there.
Oh yeah, and easy to smash the bottom of his suspensions too on those chicanes. But yes, they did manage to get that done. Well, kind of like you said.
Oh, he just did not stop, did he?
This is going to be going straight into the fence, exactly. Now, just let's caught the braking. Somebody started to brake or something, and then just caught him off completely. Tried to turn to avoid it. Nothing you can do.
Here we go. Let's listen. Oh, I just didn't want to slow. I think there's a braking issue for him. I think there's a braking issue there. That must be a hardware issue, because he was braking. Yeah. It just was not slowing down for him.
That was Aaron C. Hall that we're riding on board with. And I think it was quite, like, he did it, but he also turned away, so he didn't want to try to take out the car ahead of him. And a smart, like, millisecond decision there to basically sacrifice his own car into the fence rather than destroying somebody else's race. And of course,
Biggles,
the Kiwi's on the top right now as Corey has taken the lead of the race by quite a bit of a margin out of turn one. So I'm not sure what happened in that one. Zan made a little bit of a mistake or not going in there and must have had a little have a runoff. And that's are we seeing another incident repeat of what just happened before there? That tag that might probably send the 166 car around. That's Robert Rikas. Yeah, he was involved in that one.
No contact. Oh no. Yeah, there's going to be contact here in two. Yeah. There's the contact, and off into the wall you go.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, not happy. He will not be happy with that. Here we go. Back to live action. Xander Reed also now in second. Half a second behind that. A little bit further back in the field, though. There's an exciting battle going on between, well, basically I think P11, 12, 13, and 14, and 15. all involved in it. It's going to be Youngcho who's already up 7 positions to, well, see try what he can do. Dan Morera ahead of him.
Off in the second Lesmo as well too, I saw in the background, though, further back. Catching a few of those drivers off, so pull out your fold-up chair and grab your popcorn and sit there if you're trackside in Monza right now. That's a hot zone for sure, as well as turn 4, as you'd mentioned.
He's going to go for it. He's going to go for it, Biggles. He's going to go down the inside of Parabolica. He's going to make it stick. No contact like the last incident we saw. And that's beautifully done now. He has to watch out for the run, though, that Dan Morera is going to get. Gets a good run out of that last corner. And that's pass done. Up into P6 goes Youngcho of the AM class.
Yeah, got to give it to this man as well, too. Like the AM class, look at that. 2 positions gained, currently in a podium position, which is fantastic. But he does have to hold off the Blackout Motorsport driver there of Samuel and Sproul, which has gained 7 positions. So both of the Blackout Motorsport New Zealand team are doing fantastic. You got one in P1 at the moment, with Corey that's gained 2 places. And then you have Samuel, that's currently down there in P4, the 66 machine. But then again, it is a little bit questionable about what happened between Corey, obviously, for the race lead, and Rob Rodriguez, who unfortunately is in the pit lane at the moment, and maybe very well out of this race at the moment. First race, of course, we've got another one coming up after.
Yeah, 30 minutes will that race will be. We're almost halfway through race number 1. We're on lap number 4 at the moment. Xander Reid is going to try and make a move, probably coming out of Ascari. Can't expect him to make that move into Ascari. Too quick of a corner, really, that left-hander of Ascari when you go into it. Here on the exit, have to watch out for that curbstone, though. It can throw you off pretty badly. A little bit further back, though, Samuel Sproul is going to look for a move on Motorol. I think this move is looking more likely than the move up ahead. He's going to go for it, I think. He's going to go down to the inside of Ascari. Is Motorol going to let it happen? He is not. I bet you he's not, because he's in a podium position as an AM driver. And he'll be the first AM driver to take up, well, a podium position here. And he does not want to let that slip. However, though, Biggles, you also don't want to let the opportunity slip of taking the AM victory here.
Did you see what Samuel did? He lifted off a little bit, so he got the power down early, exiting out Parabolica, so he can take this challenge into turn 1 right now. But you got to be trusting your brace. Last of the late breakers course, because this is a very tight. Even Formula 1 drivers can't do that. Ask Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton a few years ago. But this man got it done. And that is how you do a textbook overtake in the turn 1 at Monza.
Samuel Sproul up into P3, an all-pro podium now. It looked like a fairy tale story at the beginning for Shannon Monteral, when I think it is Bryce Rodriguez who crashed out. When he crashed out, he of course inherited that P3, but he's dropped back down to P4 and is fighting now with Jeremy Littleton. Here it is. There's that battle for P1 in the AM class. However, though, if he can stay close to Sproul, he can, well, benefit from the tow that he's getting. And if he does that, it's going to be a difficult job, really, for Littleton to get past, isn't it, Biggles? Because you really do need an advantage here, else there's no way for you to get past.
Yeah, you got to take, if you get car, every opportunity you possibly can here, because, yeah, you only got 10 or so turns here at the Temple of Speed. And further back, you can see Jordan Miller there, just tucked up behind the 617 machine of Luigi Santiago.
Yes, sir, Luigi Santiago, that is, in the 617. He himself is all over at the moment. Mulholland, who's now dropped down a position. I think it was Bush, excuse me, not Mulholland. Bush has now dropped down 2 positions. Did not get the best exit out of Lesmo 2.
Lesmo.
Yeah. And he's dropped down 2 positions, and that's what momentum can do. He's going to have a little look, though. That is not what I would do, because look at that. He's gone deep into Ascari now. And he's going to have to let another 2 past.
Yeah. He's actually going to lose the place behind as well, too, because a high-speed section through Ascari. But I think that's kind of clever play at that one. He didn't want to pick that fight through there, which could have ended up with 3 or 4 cars into the local Italian medical center. Live to see another day for sure. Remember, another race coming up a little bit later on, point to points. You like to see this, but you also like to see challenges and battles into turn 1 here again, and they're going to go side by side through here. So allowing the space, it should be very close actually, because you'd be surprised if the inside line or the outside line at turn 1 comes down to this as you approach Curva Grande.
Well, you don't win a championship, Biggles, by being quick. You win a championship by being consistent. And if one man is being consistent at the moment, it's Sander Reid, of course. Got 2 podiums last time out, one of those being a win. Both of the drivers don't go deep. Edward is off the is off the track too. Anderson can continue. But that gives Shaw the perfect opportunity to try and get past. In front of that, O'Call ribbing 2.4 seconds up ahead. That's the podium position for young Shaw in the AM class. So he's going to be eager to get past, really. And he's all over him, but that was a mistake from both drivers. Charles Edwards off the track. So was Tyler Anderson.
Well, it's tricky corner, isn't it? That turn 4, turn 5.
I mean, if you brake too late, it is.
Yeah, it's a hard, difficult place, especially you've got traffic up the road, you've got cars behind you, you're looking in your mirrors, you're looking forward. Easy just to over brake yourself, and then you got to go straight on, and that's all you have to do. If you're the driver behind, just exactly like Young Chow right now, he has to force the driver into a mistake. Now, difficult to force somebody into a mistake, of course, coming up here into Curva Parabolica, but now it's just a matter of going side by side here. It's easy. You can have 3 cars through there. I've seen 3 cars, even 4 cars through Curva Parabolica before, but it's the exit into turn out of the corner that makes all the difference. And of course, are they going to be continuing that down to turn 1?
Well, there we go. It's now going to be Anderson up the inside. Got a better run out of Parabolica, it seems. Joe maybe running a little bit deep on entry. Who's going to come out ahead of those 2, though? That's going to be interesting. They're both losing time now to the drivers ahead. The inside for the first part is for Joe, or the outside for the first part is for Joe. The inside in the second part, he's going to get it. Contact between the 2, and that very nearly was, well, Joe off the road, so was Anderson. Luckily for both drivers, though, they can continue.
Yeah, also keep an eye on Reid at the moment. He's getting very, very close to perhaps in the dying stages of this one, try to steal this position back away. Mr. Reid at the moment running in P2.
He's going to get it.
He's going to definitely have to try, because he knows at the moment, yeah, once again, you can probably get about a lap and change, maybe 2 laps here.
If there's one corner where you don't want to go side by side, it's going into Ascari. He's going to try it, though.
Oh, no, he's backed off. He's clever and realizes it's not going to happen.
Well, what he's done, he's forced Lazarus to the inside, and that will mean that he's going to get a better exit out of Ascari. Here's the run for the lead.
Fantastic exit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic exit.
And now definitely before you even get to Parabolica. But then again, inside line is also very, very powerful here. It's all about the exit. Remember, these don't have traction control, remember, and all those fancy gizmos, so you gotta hit that loud pedal and not let the rear slip just a little bit. There we go. We're gonna have a nice drag down into turn 1, James. Yeah, I called you James now, but Dan, seen this before, haven't you? This, remember, is now a battle for the P1 position. He's gonna be bold and brave into turn 1.
Well, who's going to get it? It's Lazarus on the inside for the first part. He's going to break the latest. Reid on the outside. That will give him the inside for the second part. He's going to stay there. Reid, however, is not going to get the drive out of the corner that Lazarus is. And once again, we can see the outside for the second part seems to be better there, Biggles. You can just get the drive out of the corner. And, well, Lazarus has done a textbook move here. Now Reid is going to go to the inside. Lazarus has left the door open. This is going to be an easy pass for Reid, isn't it? Down the inside of De La Roja.
Well,
it is not going to be if he's going to stay on the inside.
No, you scrub too much speed. And there it is. But look at this. In the background, we haven't forgot about the Samuel. So the other New Zealand driver for the Blackout New Zealand tempo, but bringing him to play. Maybe they're going to be looking for a 1-2 here. The only problem, of course, is Xander Reid there. It's going to say, none on my watch. Well, this will probably be one more lap to do it, but has that panned out brilliantly there for the Blackout Motorsports New Zealand team, running in 2nd and 3rd at the moment.
Oh, look at this now. This is also the battle for the lead in the AM class up front, though. Samuel Sproul looking to make that move. And, of course, Xander Reid knows what Sproul is trying. He's going to stay to that outside line. And it looks like he gets a good exit. A little bit further back, though, if we look with Monteral. He's under great pressure from Littleton also. This is for position in class. Monteraldo is going to have front row seats to the battle between Lazarus and Sproul. What they don't want to do is fight each other. We're going to go on to the last lap of the race now. And it's the top 5 within a second.
If I was chatting here, I would sit back and wait for this, because there's a possibility, a high possibility, that there might be some tangling up the road, and that could be P1.
Look at the line Reid is running, though. Yeah. Look at the line Xander Reid is running. He's all the way to the inside. To the outside goes Sproul. Breaks very late, and he does it. Down to turn 1. But he goes round though, the leader goes off. Bit too ambitious, you have to say, for Samuel Sproul. Went for it, came all the way from P11 to have a shot at the victory. However though, down into turn 1, did not get it. Xander Reed was under attack, kept his cool, knew that Samuel Sproul was never gonna make it, and he himself has now regained that first position. That was just a bit too ambitious, wasn't it, Biggles?
Well, it's both the drivers. Remember, he got basically ganged up on the Blackout Motorsport team. So
look what that has done,
he
though.
had to defend 2 of them, and he managed to hold off because of one of the little mistakes there from Samuel. He's under attack there from Corey, but I think Corey's a little bit too far back now because this should be. Oh, we may get one more lap out of this one because Barney hasn't waved that white flag yet. But
It is the
is.
last lap, Biggles.
Yep,
But look
okay.
what that has done. Shannon Monteral has gone up into P3 overall. We could well see our first time podium. Who's going to take it? Is it going to be Jeremy Littleton or is it going to be Shannon Monteral? That's going to be the question coming out of Ascari. Who's going to get the better run? It looks like it's going to be Monteral. Up front though, it's Lazarus who's going to challenge one last time. Reed will hold the inside. He will hug it like his favorite granny.
Yeah, remember the line. Usually the quickest to the line will be the outside right there for where Reed is. Because you
Who's
going to
get
right
it?
next to the wall and then get the exit speed. A little bit scrubbed on that one. Reed has to hold him up. I'm sure he'll hold him off, Dan. And they'll take that first race win.
Across the line for Reed, and he takes a well-fought-for victory and a well-deserved one. Victory number 2 in a row and podium number 3 in a row for Xander Reed. What a drive from him. Of course, a great drive came from P2 to win this race. Got a great start. But our first time podium, it is going to be Shannon Monteral. This man, Jeremy Littleton, tried to fight him for it. Was not able to do it. But what a fight that was for that last podium position, Biggles.
Well, fight's all around, wasn't it? Absolutely. Oh, Pepel of speed takes your breath away, that's for sure. That was so close. It was about picking the right race line coming out of Curva Parabolica, which was done right there. I mean, Xander Reed, you have to give it to him. He held off the massive pressure. Remember, he had Samuel Sproul there putting pressure on him. Corey almost snuck one past there earlier, so it could have been 1-2 for Blackout Motorsport, but Corey just held on to that one. Don't forget about Shannon Monteral as well, too, as you said, getting a fantastic job for the aim class, but he had to also battle off Jeremy Littleton for the Twisted Racing team, so all around, and that's just the business end of this race. So many other battles were down the back that we couldn't catch at the same time, Dan.
Oh, Biggles, what a race that was. And let's quickly look at the results. There you go, Biggles.
No, you go through this one, Dan. You're so much better than me and quicker with those names, and you've been doing such a great job. Come on.
Well then, Xander Reed, we saw it. Biggles skate to do the race results. I've never seen anything like it. Xander Reed will finish this race in first. Corey Lazarus in P2. What a battle for P1. It came down to the last corner on the last lap. That run out of Parabolica. What a drive from Xander Reed. Did everything he needed to do. Was under attack, of course, going into that last lap by Samuel Sproul. And held on. Honestly, I don't know if Samuel Sproul would have actually stopped that. He turned into the corner. And he just went round. Just too much speed into that corner, really. And I don't think he would have ever been able to stop that car. Shannon Monteral, first and driver to be on the podium overall. So take a bow for Shannon Monteral. What a drive for him. Also, Jeremy Middleton kept him honest all the way through, but never really, Biggles, was able to mount an attack on him. Like I said, Samuel Sproul down on P5 after he came all the way down from P11 to have a go at the lead. In the end, just a little bit too eager to get to the front of the field. Adam Morrow in P6, 7th Colby Warren, 8th Mark Lampert, 9th Carl Ribbing, Tyler Anderson rounding off the top 10. Young Choi in P11, Adam Schmidt P12, Charles Edwards P13, Dan Moreira in P14, John Rivera in P15, Bryce Rodriguez, after leading this race, dropping all the way down to P16, Sean Mulholland in P17, Matthew Wyckoff in P18, P19 for Luigi Santiago, and P20 for Michael Carilla. P21, Garen Watson, 22, Jordan Miller. 23rd, Hayden Bush. Rob Rodriguez Jr. in P24. Dylan Vanderbeek in P25. P26 for Aaron Hall. Troy Fenelon in P27. Aiden Young in P28. And Ryan Wintfield in P29. Let's go to the grid, because the drivers are already gridding up for the feature race here, Biggles. And we're going to have Mark Lampert on the pole, Colby Warren in P2, P3 for Adam Morrow, P4 Samuel Sproul, P5 Jeremy Middleton, Shannon Monterol in P6, Corey Lazarus P7, and Xander Reid in P8. And that rounds off your reverse grid. The rest is the same as the results we just shown you, so we're just quickly going to go through them. Not going to name them all, because you're basically going to hear the same thing that you heard when we were doing.
And poor Dan's going to run over voice having to go through this for 29 race drivers. But yes, exactly. Reverse grid just for the top 8, as you said. Well, I was going to say, I wish we had more time in that first race. Well, guess what? We get more time now in the second race, because it's going to continue all this way. Here we go. Different situation. Canadian on pole for this one. Kobe right next to him. Let's go racing. Over to you, Dan.
Green, green, green for race number 2. Here, of course, for the Porsche Cup Challenge America, it's Mark Lampert with a good start for Paul, but look at that on the inside. Samuel Sproul already getting through to the front of the field. He's going to challenge Mark Lampert to the inside, outside for the second part. This works really well. We've seen it. And Sproul is going to get the run out of the corner. Meanwhile, there's mayhem in the background. Samuel Sproul, though, what a start from him. Up 3 Biggles.
Well, he's making up from that previous race, isn't he? He wants to get on with it. He wants to get up the road and say, okay, catch me if you can. That's the target. It's on the back of it. But further back, you can see that's the 568 Ada Marrow there and Corby Warren, and they're exchanging places. I think somebody's gone off. I think that was Adam. So Adam Marrow's gone too deep there for the 568 car. As you said, there's a bit of carnage. Of course, there always will be carnage on the first lap of an Italian Grand Prix with 29 drivers. But, yep, that's what it's called. That's called the motor race, as Mikey would say. Well, this is your Porsche Cup, as we would say.
Here we go. This is the leader in the AM class, Jeremy Littleton. Carl Ribbing is in P2. And it was the winner in the AM class who's had a terrible start. He, at the moment, of course, winner in that AM class, Shannon Monterol, down in P24. Lost 18 positions from where he started. Here he is, poor old Shannon Monterol. This car not looking the best. I think he's the one who went round De La Roja. The second of the 2 chicanes at this track. Samuel Sproul, meanwhile, under attack from Mark Lampert. He's not going to let him go without a fight. He's going to keep him honest.
Yeah, because Mark had the opportunity, of course, in the reverse grid there to seize the opportunity to have the first run into turn 1. And he wants to take this one back there, so he's keeping with the toe. You have to remember, he's got Corey Lazarus there.
He has to stay there. He's weaving.
Yeah,
Samuel Sproul is doing something.
Yeah, but you have to commit to your braking point right now. Where are you going to make it stick? Of course, sticking to the racing line and say force you around the outside, the inside. I think at the moment there, Mark Lampert is just happy to sit back right now and tuck in behind. And he's got to be very, very careful. Of course, he's got the teammate of Samuel Sproul behind him. And we see what happens when those Blackout Motorsport team members work together.
Well, it looks like they're not going to make a pass anytime soon. So we're quickly going to look at the replay of Adam Schmidt. This is down into turn 1. And what has happened here? No, he's going to go down there. Oh, he's going to lose on the braking.
He turned in a little bit to the left.
No, he lost it on the braking. He lost it on the braking.
Oh, the rear slipped out and then you got to go around. You can go straight to the styrofoam thing, so.
Look at it. You're going to see a puff of smoke. Look at his rear tires. You're going to see a puff of smoke when he brakes.
You're right. You're right. That's what snapped it to the left there.
Right there.
Yeah. So, well, luckily he went straight on there and avoided the other 2 drivers that were looking to take a tangle there into turn 1. Right there. Quite sure who got the better exit out of that. In fact, got that gentleman behind. Don't you just love Monza? It's, it's so simple, less corners, high speed, but straights, but the chicanes bunch everybody back in there and give you fantastic passing opportunities, or runs into the fence, whichever you prefer. But look at this run right now. This is Adam Schmidt there, and he's got a couple of cars here, but where can he go? Where can he go? It's a traffic jam in Italy coming into Monza right now there, Dan.
He's going to go to the outside of the last corner's contact on the car ahead. Rob Rodriguez touches, I think, Matthew Wyckoff. And Matthew Wyckoff is all the way off the track. Has hit the wall, I think. No, he's not, judging by the fact how deep he was into that gravel. He's not hit the wall. Tires are overheated, though. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I said you can get 4 into Curva Parabolica. It's not recommended, but it does happen. Look at that, because drivers are weaving around. It's almost like a NASCAR IndyCar race at that point, isn't it? But unfortunately, you got a little bit more sharper turns than that. And
Biggles, our pole sitter last time round, has gone off again.
Oh,
Once
no.
again down into turn 1. Is there contact involved this time? I think there is. To the inside now, boom, contact, yeah. Yeah, he just turned in as if the 201 wasn't going to be there anymore, and that is not something that you can do into that corner, really. And that's unfortunate there for Bryce. So is he going to get underway? Yes, he is. Let's go back to live
What
pictures.
happened
It's
to,
rather
yeah,
close.
what happened to Mark Lampard there? Lampard, because he's now in P3, so both of the cars have got past him. One of them. We'll get a replay of that one maybe in a second there, Dan, because something definitely happened up the business end.
I can't see anything happening. I think it's just pace that has left him, really. I think the guys ahead of him, of course, Corey Lazarus and Sproul were fighting for the lead last time round. So was Xander Reed, and he's now going to try and get past him too. Of course, he started the furthest back from all these drivers. Samuel Sproul started P4 on the grid, is now up 3 positions. He's going to go down the inside. He's going to make that pass stick. I don't
He's
think
hugging the inside apron, but that scrubs a little bit of your speed off.
he's going to get
We'll
it.
see.
No,
Yeah.
Mark Lampard is way too far off. I think 3/10 is a bit too much. However, he got a good exit. But I think this Xander Reed's going to defend the inside. And
Well,
Mark
Xander Reed right now
Lampard's
knows there's 2 people up the road that he wants to get past. The two he had to defend against last time, remember? Samuel and Corey up the road in the Blackout Motorsport racing team. So, guess what? They have now a very, very quick Xander Reed that's just managed to clear Mark Lampard. So he is on a mission. He knows, I've got to chase down 66 and 85 car and win the second race here in Monza. I'll tell you what, he is very much capable of it. Once he's in free air, I would not be surprised if he doesn't put it fastest lap of the race so far there, Dan.
Look at a little bit of a replay from Michael Carrillo. He's going to spin it, I think. Yeah, he's going to spin it. Boom. And he's going to get collected. Yeah. Oh, so many drivers just about
that
running
one.
off. And then the last of the cars is the cars that hit him.
Oh my, so this one as well. Oof.
Oh, where do you go, really, if you
Yeah,
see
you
that?
can't. No, you're coming around. I can't be sure that was Curva Grande or one of the Lesmos, but yeah, he's nowhere to go at that point. He lost it. He's like, okay, just close your eyes and then just hopefully, hear a big smash into the side of your car. But unfortunately, there was a couple of the other drivers that were collected. But I've always said this before in the past, Dad. If you don't want to be accidentally coming around a corner running into a car, just put your car on pole and then you'll be in the lead. You won't have to worry about that.
Oh, I don't know. If there are back markers, Biggles, it's still
Well,
the
if they're
same.
back markers, of course, yeah, that'll be further into more of an endurance race, perhaps. At this point, there are, as you can see on the track map, they're going through a couple of cars going through turn 1 and turn
Teammates
2.
here.
but Yep. Now, what do you think? The team orders at play? I'm not sure, but they need to work together soon because, as I said, Xander Reed
not gonna
is
do
coming
it.
and coming quick and fast. So, what's going to happen here between the teammates?
They're not going to do it. They're not going to work together here. They're going to go side by side into the Rettifilio. Or they're not. They are working together.
No,
But
they, I
see
think
that?
they're working together. They
6
worked
tenths
together
lost.
before, Dan. They
6
worked together
tenths
in the
lost.
first race. Yeah, that's the problem, bud. Now, who's the quicker driver? And you want to be like multi-21, Seb. Multi-21, that's going to be the call, isn't it?
Lazarus was the quicker of the two.
They're Kiwis, so I mean, they're not Australians, of course, and Mark Webber. But then again, GG's to the Kiwi drivers doing fantastic, of course, in the Supercar series in Australia. Won't spoil the
Lazarus
surprises on that one.
Was half a second quicker last time round than Samuel Sproul. But here it is. 2 or 4 further tenths quicker than both of the drivers. Xander Reed in the background is posted purple in Sector 1 and in Sector 2.
I told you he was going to chase him down, Dan. I told you he was going to chase him down. He can see him. He
Is he
wants
going to
it.
take
He can
victory
smell
3 in a row?
Kiwi blood, my friend. He can smell Kiwi blood. He wants it.
Is he going to take
knows.
victory 3 in a row, Biggles?
You know, he's like, I beat them before, but now they got it. The difference is, of course, they're ahead, and they can work together as blockers, basically. And you know, you don't mess with the New Zealand football team too, mate, and rugby. They are mean, the All Blacks. So we'll see how it's going to pan out on this one. Are they? They have to work together because Xander Reid is approaching fast.
Well, we saw it in the last race. It's difficult to get past without any slipstream, but he has the slipstream now. Is within that second margin, a little bit further back, though. A great battle between Warren and Morrow. Morrow to the inside of Warren. And he's got that position, however, coming out of Parabolica. The outside will have a little bit more drive. And Warren will look to try and get back into the slipstream of Morrow and try and maybe mount an attack down into turn 1 again. Meanwhile, behind that, it's also Ribbing in the AM class coming back. Littleton in P5, biting his time. 1.7 seconds up the road. Oh, is that blinking? Oh, that's Warren blinking. That's never going to help you as a driver in front or behind trying to defend or attack. That's never something you want. Meanwhile, backing on into the track.
That's somebody on the racing line at that point too. I think just off the racing line, but that was Mark. That's Mark Lampard. Now the man leading had to start on the race, of course, at the reverse grid. Is unfortunately now looking out at maybe 17th, 18th position. Not like too much damage on the car, but only a little bit of damage in
He's lit up the race. He's lit up the race. Let me tell you that. Oh yeah, no, touched the gravel.
Well, yeah, the gravel out of turn 2, yeah, and that's just lit it, kept it out of the fence.
Oh no, oh yeah, this is unacceptable.
This is that is going to be here a little bit naughty, my friend. Yeah, reversing back onto the racing line, and right there, look at that. He's lucky he didn't get a few more drivers collected. That'll definitely be something that might be recorded. He can do better than that, Mark. We know that for a fact.
And then the 44, I think, also gets collected in that. Just up ahead of him, and he had nothing to do with that. He just came round, and they said, well, you're now collected in my incident because I'm going to reverse back onto the track. Not Mark Lampard's finest moment, but we know, of course, it was not on purpose at all. We know these drivers, and something like that, easily done, just a bit hot-headed at that moment. Of course, frustrated with himself.
Keep up Smith, battle for P7 and P8 now. Now, Smith's obviously battling with an AM class driver. However, yep, I think that just might be a job done on that one. Remember, they are different classes as well, too. Now, I'm going to mention that they're not the same speed, because you can see that at the moment, Littleton's up at a P4, and that's a completely different class there. But yes, another battle further back. This is obviously for P1 again. For the top there, look how much Reid has caught there, but one thing to catch, another thing to overtake. Let's see if the American can dethrone both of the Kiwis here in the feature race.
He's done once already. Was not on the pole, so it can't be a grand slam for Xander Reid. What it can be, though, is his third victory in a row.
They're blocking. See, I knew it. The New Zealand drivers. Now, the only problem with that is that it takes precision communication, because one of the drivers will have to scrub a lot of speed off here to do that, because you're going to go off the racing line, and you're going to make it very, very difficult for Xander to try to get an overtake. Now, a tiny mistake, and you know what's even the worst thing, if you're a team boss or an engineer, to seeing both of your drivers having to come together and take each other out and just give it a free ride there for Mr. Reid. So whatever you're going to play your games, remember, it can work one way and it can fail the other. And they will cleverly follow each other through the scurry. Now, I'm wondering right now, this is going to be the key there. Look at this, Dan. Are they going to bunch up and when they get to Parabolica, are they going to force Xander Reid somewhere around, inside or outside? Maybe too far back, but we'll see. That's the plan.
Really, Biggles.
If you've got a teammate to help you out, it can work. Yeah, maybe turn 1, actually, Dan. Turn 1 will probably be the key here. If they go side by side into turn 1, I don't think Xander can go anywhere. Dan, you might have to go back to that one soon, because I want to see that turn 1 run.
I don't think they're going to go side by side through turn 1. I don't think.
No, but they'll go close enough into the corner. So look at that. So Xander's got nowhere to go.
He's either going to have to go very inside, which is not going to help his racing line, or he has just nowhere to go. That's his only option.
I think at this point he has to. I would be sitting back. You got a little bit of time on your side, and then hoping some mistake happens.
Well, what's going to happen here? Lazarus is completely going to overheat and shred those tires apart if he's going to keep those tight lines into the corner. So if Reed can just keep behind, just kind of put them into a snooze mode, that they think, all right, we've got him, he's not going to be able to get past, and then all of a sudden he just kicks into another gear and just gets Lazarus, because Lazarus has basically shredded his tires apart, and is going to get past Sproul too, because Sproul has no one to work together with anymore.
Yeah. I think once he takes down one of these Blackout team players here, then the other one should be up for grabs easier. And you could just see where they're back up there. So Corey's the one that's running in P2. Samuel's in P1. We'll go back to that action in a minute, of course, because there's many other cars on the track. Of course, this is a battle for P4 and 5. And that's Adam Morero there and Jeremy.
Not for class, not in class.
Not for
Littleton.
class, yeah. In gas powered car. That's got a little bit of damage on the side there, but still looking good. 568 machine.
Here's the battle for P7. Rivera also not for class, is one behind. That Morera though is in class, and that is for P2 and 3 in the AM class. Meanwhile up front though, the gap has now come down. Look at that. They're not doing what they are supposed to do.
One's going to be on the inside, one's going to be on the outside. If we can get the pace up, there it is. And once again, forcing Xander Reed to go where? Through turn 1 and turn 2, you can't go anywhere. It's going to be dependent on not they make a mistake going out of there. No, they won't. Now coming up to Curva Grande, it's nowhere once again to do. Maybe the Lesmos could be an opportunity coming up there to see if they make a mistake. All I think Xander Reed's all he's got to do is apply the pressure. Just make them work for that P1 and P2 at the moment if they want to hold on to it.
And Morera is dropping down the order 2. Who's that off? Someone off. Charles Edwards is off the track. I think that was P2 in the AM class.
No, oh, was it? Yeah, it could have been actually, right?
Yeah, Charles Edwards, I think P2 in the AM class, off the track. He's back on the track again, but has lost a handful of positions there. A little bit further up the road, Anderson, Hall, all going side by side. Where do you look, Biggles? There is so much battling going on, including for the front there, once again side by side. He's going to go down the inside. He's going to try it.
He's going for it, he has to Ascari. He seized an opportunity. There was a switcheroo between the teammates. So Samuel went back a little bit, allowed Corey through. Maybe talking about that heating of tires, as you said. And by allowing that, they allowed Reed to sneak in between them. Now Reed's
all right, Lazarus has to stay on the outside now.
Blackout Motorsport New Zealand sandwich here.
Well, something that I didn't like that I saw at the beginning of the race, I think that Sproul was doing. He was weaving at the start-finish race. Went right, left, right, left. Technically, you're able to go right, you're able to go left. And if you then go right again, you've got to stay there.
Here it is.
So you can only move twice.
The rules are a little clear. I thought into a braking zone, you can't move. But then again, there's rules and regulations. It's the main straightaway. I thought you can weave all day long, not on straightaway.
No,
as long as you
because
get
you're
into
not predictable
corner.
if you weave. The rule says be predictable, and weaving, let's be honest, Biggles, is not predictable at all. But the gap is 4 tenths now. He's going to try and catch him up. Reed might well take his 3rd victory in the last 3 races. We're going to see a reoccurring theme here. I thought only F1 had that problem, but it seems like Reed here, with how dominant he's been here this evening, is going to create the same problem in the P-Cup here. However, we're not there yet. Still 12.5 minutes to go. A little bit over 12.5 minutes. Reed, however, is all over Corey Lazarus. And they might well lose that first position to Xander Reed, like you said. Once he got past one, the second of the two, well, he's going to be helpless, right?
Well, 50% easier now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I would say 150% easier.
There you go. They're dropping Samuel, so I think he has to worry about nothing behind him at the moment. He has to worry about what's up the road. Yeah, I know she had to sneak that one in there, Dan, didn't you, about predictability. It's in Dutch drivers winning Formula 1 championships. Okay, and races. I see where you're going there, Dan. But then again, hey, it's working.
It is.
He is quick. We'll see. Hey, just to let you know, of course, going off the subject for a little bit, he's never won an Australian GP before, so that's one he needs to tick off his list. Oh, mistake! You can't do that, Corey! Was that a little bit of a lock-up? Actually, there was a car up the road. I'm not sure if that threw him off there, Dan, but that is definitely and easy. Yeah, especially Alexander Reed there behind you. He will not miss that opportunity in Day of the Week. Is that a lock-up?
No, just spins it, lets the rear ups.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So
oh, what a point to do it too.
Have they overcooked those tires earlier, as you said?
I think.
Trying to work together, and it's not panned off.
I think that is the case, because I think you're right with that. Let's see if Reed can now try and gap them. Reed has been very generous on his tires. Has not made any ridiculous moves. Not pulled out and not been driving aggressively. Seems like, well, you know, the Blackout Motorsports boys just have to push that little bit more to keep up with Reed. And it's going to be difficult, I think, for them now when they've, well, pushed their tires over a little bit of a cliff, I think. Their tires not doing what they're telling them to do, really, and what they're normally doing. They've maybe overheated them just a little bit.
Yeah, I always said that to you, Dan, before in the past, mate. You know, take your tires out to dinner, buy them some nice flowers, propose to them if you have to. But, yeah, take care of them. But another thing to look out for, too, Dan, that's not necessarily up on the screen, but Xander Reed, remember, he's got 7K iRating, so the man is just really at another level himself. You're talking about both Samuel and Corey there for the Blackout Motorsport team. They're at 4.2, 4.3K iRating, so it's Xander Reed's almost double. But going back to the battle here, P18 and 19.
This is between Carl Ribbing and Bush, Hayden Bush. Hayden Bush dropped down at the beginning of the race. He's still up 3 positions, but was up a lot further than where he is now. Carl Ribbing, however, got past, and he's now on P19. He's going to chase down Young Cho ahead of him. Carl Ribbing, though, down 10 positions on where he started in the top 10. He's now on P19, so he won't be happy with that. A little bit further down the field from the battle at the front. It is this battle. It is Adam Schmidt, who is, what, a 10th behind Jean-William Rivera. He's going to go to the inside of Rivera to try and make that pass stick. The outside for the second part of the Rettifilio is the quicker part. He's going to move over to him. He's going to try and cut his nose off, not let him run the outside, and he did not do that. Adam Schmidt has backed out of it, and he's going to have to try again if he wants to get past. However, though, it seems like Jeremy Littleton a little bit further up the road is about 4/10 off of Morrow, and at the front of the field, Biggles, if you just look on the top left of your timing tower, it's Sproul, who's almost outside of a second of Reed.
Yeah, exactly. I think once Reed's gone, he's gone. They did their absolute best to try to hold him back, but he's just a machine at that point, firing at all
If you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile, basically.
A mile, yep. He'll take a lot more than a mile, a few more miles here around Monza. But the battles you see brewing up for P4. Now, we've got to remember, this is class. Littleton is in the AM class here for the Twisted Racing team. And at the moment, the only problem he has is Adam Murrow there in the 568 machine. He's trying to hold him off, and further back you can see Adam Smith there. This is going to be so dangerous. They can't do that. Maybe if they could prove me wrong. They have proved me wrong. Great driving, wheel to wheel. Yeah. You don't see that very often there, Dan.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all, indeed. And, well,
that's like,
they made it work.
That's like seeing 2 cars go through Castle.
Yeah, exactly. And it usually never works, however. At the front of the field, Corey Lazarus is going to try and overtake Samuel Sproul again.
The switcheroo, I think, at this point, they may be like, yeah, all right, you had your shot, now somebody else, but try to keep him at bay. They're still keeping him at bay.
They're keeping him honest, let's put it like that.
Honest, exactly. Yep.
This is a battle, though. 3 cars within a second. This is P9, P10, and then P11. Moreira, Hall, and Whitfield, who are fighting over P3 in the AM class. So it's not any position, it's the podium position in the AM class. Winfield down the inside of me, both of them. The 155 is going to run into him. No. Contact! Yeah. That was way too deep for the 53.
I say he couldn't get it stopped in time, could he? You saw that. He was deciding going in the inside there, oversped it.
And that was Tyler Anderson, running P6 in the Pro class, Biggles. Running P7 overall. Ouch, ouch, or P8 overall, excuse me. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That car has seen better days, and nothing really that he had to do with it. Ryan Winfield went for a move. Let's be honest, Biggles. Ryan Winfield, that was never ever on.
You got to remember too, none of this traction control, ABS brakes, and that sort of stuff. That's bold and brave something. Now sometimes it can pay off and work, sometimes, but just too much speed carrying to that corner, especially when you're on the very, very inside next to the chicane, remember, not on the racing line. So your exit speed's completely compromised. Look at that. Yeah, I've done this a million times before here in Monza, my friend, and yeah, nothing you can do to stop that car. It's just going straight into the fence, and a little bit of a side tangle there, exchanging some paint with the other driver, but thankfully not turning them around. Probably well aware of that one. That's my bad mistake. And trust me, you're not the only one. You're not the first, and you won't be the last making mistakes like that.
Battle is on. The battle is on for the lead. Samuel Sproul has a look around the outside of Xander Reed. He's not going to make it stick, though, but Xander Reed maybe was the one pushing too hard on the tires once he got past. He had that gap above his second for just a split second, but it is not going to be enough. They're still in the slipstream. Sproul, Lazarus are going to keep him honest. And Xander Reed is maybe not going to get his third victory in a row, fourth podium in a row he's probably going to get if he doesn't do anything stupid, fighting both Blackout Motorsport New Zealand boys. But he's not got the pace that we thought he got once he got past.
You're right. Considering he's like almost a double iRacing rating, it didn't get that pull away lead. So maybe he just used everything in the tank there to get past, and now he's got to use everything in the tank to defend for about just under 5 minutes to hold on for his second victory here in Italy. And I tell you what, there's, as I said, the All Blacks team there behind there, as I'm referring, of course, to the rugby All Blacks team. They're from New Zealand. They're going to try their absolute best to deny Mr. Reed a second victory.
Yeah, they're going to do, but he looks quick through the corners, does Xander Reed, but then on the straights, he's losing loads and loads of times, maybe running a little bit higher wing on that Porsche, and this might well be the opportunity now. A good exit out of Parabolica for Sproul. He's going to get him. He's going to get him, Biggles. There's no way he's going to be able to hold on. No way he's going to be able to hold on.
That one, Dan, remember, you could see the slipstream. Yeah, it's not like the Formula 1 with the DRS activation. Now, sticking on the inside, on the racing line at the moment. Now, Samuel's going to have to hit the brakes. So you can see the outside by side. See the shadow? Tucks in behind. It's about the exit speed out of 2 here now. And both did a great job, actually, you'd have to say. So, nothing in between this at all. Great driving. And one slip up from any of these drivers right now, and that will be the top step, or you won't be on the step.
Well, you will be on a step lower. Around the outside goes Sproul, brakes very late. It's going to challenge him into the corner. Once again, is not going to get it. Reed risking a lot here, just cutting off Samuel Sproul. Lazarus, well, patiently biding his time behind him, and he's going to think, well, if these two tangle, the race victory is mine, so I'm happy to stay here and not do anything crazy. And if that's not the case, I'll just pick up P3. A little bit further back, though, I think it is Aaron Hall fighting together with Dan Morera too. He switched to his battle. Aaron Hall got a great exit. He's not going to be able to really make a dent into that lead. Let's have a look back at the front.
Between P4 and P5 as well too. Morrow and Lil will change. And you have to say, yep, as before, you just said Dylan Vanderback has gained 14 positions. And look at that, Mr. Hall, Aaron C. Hall. Once again, another big gain. Look at that, P4 and P5 there, sorry. Dan, P4 and P5 are actually at it too for now. I don't know why they're exchanging some positions with that interval gap looking so high, but that's...
internet connections for one of the drivers.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay,
yeah.
Fine. That's what that... Yeah, okay. But... yeah, give it to Hall, gaining 17 positions.
For sure.
Now, I believe Aaron C. Hall made that in the race previously, but we'll still keep an eye on the top of the timesheet right now because we're getting down to the dying stages, Swift. Look at that. Has to go absolutely defensive, Reed, here. Knows that he's off the racing line, knows he has to stop the car quicker, knows he has to get a good exit out here. Now, he did hit the chicane.
Give us a lap on board.
Bit of wheel spin.
Give us a lap on board, Biggles, of this Monza circuit.
Oh, don't you get to that mean, well, there's Curva Grande right now, so you're going to be tucked up like that one, like hugging your favourite grandma, as Martin Brundle would say, and then make your way down into 4 and 5, as to call it. You know exactly the names on this one. This is like the mini... yeah, oh, look at that. You launch the car over, but this is like the mini version of the Ascari. Now, Lesmos, very important. First one's fast and tuck it in. Just spot the apex right there. Get on the power. Second one is even quicker. Slow in, but fast out you need, because you have a straightaway right here. Make sure you don't hit the sand out there. That's for sure. It's not Zandvoort. This is Monza. And now, of course, the famous Ascari coming up. But this is a very difficult place to overtake. And you can see at the moment that Reed is just parking that car. He goes back on the racing line. I was going to say, you need to be on that racing line, my friend, because straight through here, cut it like ice, like a knife, gives you the best exit, because you wanted a great exit there out, and probably just got a little bit better exit there. Samuel had to get on the power as well. Now, well, we all know, curve up, parabolic up. This is the one, because, yeah, multiple ways in and out of this one. Once again, Reed is going very defensive there, Dan. That could also compromise his exit speed, so we'll see how we go. We're going to definitely maybe have a side-by-side action in the turn one, perhaps for the last time as well.
Well, we are now on to the last lap. It's the white flag lap. One last chance for Samuel Sproul. It's once again going to come down to the last lap for the lead. Let's see. Braking at the 150. On the inside is Reed. He's going to run him in deep, and the inside will not be for Sproul. And I think that is battle over. He threw all his beans into turn one, the Filio, and he did not make it stick. And I think it's going to be Xander Reed who's going to take this victory home. However, still about 3/4 of a lap to go. Lazarus is going to try and attack Sproul too.
Yeah,
because he's not going to sit back.
Orders between the 66 and the 85 teammates. Yeah, Reed nailed that perfectly. Exit out of turn two. He had to. Now, you know, you can do multiple laps of this. We're at lap 17. You can do that day in, day out, every day of the week, can't you, in Monza? But it's so easy to make one mistake in that, and all of a sudden it's, you know, game over essentially. But the times that it mattered for him, obviously for Reed, was right there. And I always say the times that it matter as well. It is on turn one, isn't it? And the first lap of the race, nailing that turn one and turn two is crucial. But he's got it. He's covered it off. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes out of Ascari, parabolic is not much of a problem for any driver really, apart from Charles Leclerc.
He's got it.
Yeah,
He's got it. What a drive from Xander Reed. Only Parabolica now to deal with for what will be our 3-time winner here in the Porsche Cup Challenge. All 3 of those wins have come, of course, in the last 3 races. It's going to be Xander Reed who takes victory number 3 in a row and podium number 4. And he wins the feature race at Monza, the Temple of Speed. Samuel Sproul, Corey Lazarus tried their best to keep him behind. And well, in the end, it just wasn't enough to keep our man Xander Reed behind them. And well, what a drive from these drivers. It's going to be Jeremy Littleton, the 619 who wins in the AM class. He takes his victory now. Of course, last time round, it was Mulholland, I think, who took the victory in that class. And this time round, it is not going to be him. Oh, sorry, it was Shannon Monterol who took the victory last time round. Excuse me for that. This time, though, he finishes in P5 after a disappointing opening of the race. And Littleton gets his revenge and gets that P1 spot. Sean Mulholland, as I think the last one we are watching, or we are waiting for to get across the line. No, I think it's Miller, actually, even, who we are waiting for. But what a race, Biggles. Both races. It came down right to the end, excuse me. It came down right to the end. And Xander Reed in both of them doing what he needed and just, well, driving like a champion already.
Well, and under pressure the whole time.
Yeah.
It was not easy. He did not have a runaway race. He had to work for it too for now. He had a massive attack and had to do his absolute best. For one, remember, he was in P3. He had to get past both of those drivers in the Blackout Motorsports. We'll definitely, hopefully, hear from those drivers in an interview situation soon. But yeah, it was a cracking race. And not to mention just those drivers, everybody else, the AM class, of course. Fantastic drive there from Jeremy Littleton for the Twisted Racing team, the 619 machine. Getting it done in the AM class. As you can see, 0 positions gained, 0 positions lost. But hey, again for him, of course, winning the AM class. This is the reason why you have to and always have to have Monza, the Temple of Speed, on your racing calendar.
Oh, for sure. Let's quickly run through the results from race number 2 here, the feature race. Xander Reid once again on that first spot out of Samuel Sproul and Corey Lazarus in P3. Samuel Sproul this time not doing anything wrong down into turn 1, actually keeping the car on track. Adam Morrow in P4, Jamie Littleton, our first AM driver and winner of the AM class. Adam Schmidt in P6, Jean Rivera P7, P8 for Dan Barrera, Aaron Hall in P9, P10 for Shannon Monteral, 11 Charles Edwards, Dylan van der Beek in P12, P13 for Colby Warren, P14 Young Choi, Tyler Anderson P15, 16 Gary Watson, 17th Carl Ribbing, 18th Hayden Bush, 19th for Sean Mulholland, 20th for Luigi Santiago, 21st for Aiden Young, Jordan Miller in P22, 23rd Ryan Winfield, 24th Wyckoff, 25th Mark Lampert, 26th Rob Rodriguez Jr., 27th Bryce Rodriguez, 28th Michael Carillo, and P29. And last in this race, Troy Fenelon. What an evening of racing that was, Biggles.
Absolutely. I'm trying to see if we can round up a couple of drivers there. And we can hear from Xander Reid there, of course, said both of the Kiwi drivers that finished in there, perhaps even for the AM class winner on both the races. We'll find out, of course, won't we, there, Dan, soon?
Oh, yeah.
It was Temple Speed. You can never go wrong on this track. I guarantee you, never go wrong. I was surprised how absolutely bunched up everybody was the whole time, isn't it? You didn't have that massive spread. We didn't literally have like one of those Formula 100% have a snooze moments during a race. It was action all the way.
Well, here he is. Here he is, our 2-time winner. And now 3-time winner in a row, Xander Reid. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Xander, honestly, only question I have, how do you do this all the time?
I didn't think I was going to do it this week because I did absolutely no prep. I was expecting like 4th, 5th maybe.
Oh, look at that. Look at that, Biggles. Man did no prep, still won all 2 races. So for next week...
10 corners. That's all right. Yeah.
So for next week, basically, what you're saying, Xander, you're going to do practice and it's going to be a battle for P2 for everyone else.
I mean, I've never driven Zolder, so could be a good battle, but I'll definitely do some prep for that track though.
Well, you can stay at Dan's Airbnb, because he is in the Netherlands. But yeah, mate, how was that pressure? Like the pressure. How did you manage to do the best you possibly could to get past both of the Blackout Motorsports New Zealand drivers working together? We saw them doing their best to make it difficult for you to get an overtake done when they go side by side into corners where there's opportunities. What was going through your mind, and how confident were you to eventually find a way past?
I was just waiting for them to make one little mistake that get my nose in and just hope it stuck.
Well, that's what they did. What wasn't it, Dan? So
it was, yeah. Well, how was it for you, basically fighting, of course, the two Blackout Motorsport New Zealand drivers, because it seemed like they were kind of working together in the beginning.
Yeah, it was definitely a very big challenge. They are some of the best drivers I've seen in a Porsche Cup car, and big props to them because they were driving great.
Well, there you go. That's Xander Reid. Biggles, any last questions?
No, great job. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant job. You ticked all our boxes off there. And
Thank
keep
you.
up the great work, of course. That's the reason why you have a 7K I rating, because you drive at the absolute
Thank you.
limit. GG's.
Thank you.
Well, Xander Reid, 2-time winner here this evening. We'll continue
We
with
got we got
interviews.
a couple of the Kiwis. I'll see if I can drag them in. So, yeah, you got it. Well, let's bring both in.
There you
We'll
go.
bring both of the Blackout Motorsports New Zealand, by the way, too, guys. Great company. I'll tell you what, I'll definitely be using those Blackout services for my electrical work and stuff like that. But back to the race, both of you are in here. Dan, who would you like to chat to first?
Well, I want to talk to Samuel Sproul first, because of course we saw in race number 1 that he went for a move around the outside, and I think it was just a little bit too eager to get to the front, wasn't it, Samuel?
Yeah, if I didn't shift down to first, I would have had it. But I shifted too eagerly, locked up the rears, round I went. But you know, you had to go for it. I was resigned to P3 the whole race, and then there was a moment, and I thought, why not take it?
Well, you came from P11, if I'm correct, in that race, so it was not bad at all, really, coming from P11 all the way down to P3. Of course, you
Yeah, I
won
blew my
more.
qualifying pretty bad off track.
Oh, yeah, and of course, with 2 laps now only here this evening instead of 4,
Yes.
that's going to be an issue, and especially here at Monza, easy to do that. Now, Corey, working together with Samuel, of course, in that second race to try and keep Reed behind, did you guys have any form of communication at that point?
No, none whatsoever. It was more just a case of sitting back, and I'm not even really in the championship so much this one, you know what I mean? So didn't really want to interfere with Samuel or Xander's points tally. So it was, yeah, just sitting back, and you know, you're always in the back of your mind hoping there's a little bit of a tangle so you can get through. But no, it was just a bit of support, really.
Yeah. Well, we saw in the second race too, it seemed like at some point when you dropped back, did you have problems with the tires? At least Biggles and I were talking about the tires a bit, because it seemed like you guys were able to keep up, and then all of a sudden, just the pace dropped.
Yeah, right at the end, hey.
Right at the
we
end.
sort of dropped off.
Yeah, I think it was late lunging 4 or 5 laps in a row, and then my tires were just gone. My left rear was completely cooked, and I just couldn't get the corner exits, and then I lost the toe, and then I guess Corey lost that same toe that we had on Xander. So we just resigned to those positions and took them.
And then you guys were right about that one, because I think, Dan, you were right about the tyre situations, and that's why Dan knows what he's talking about. He's a race driver. It was been great work together as teammates, of course, but just having to hold off Xander just seems like it was, at some point, such a difficult task. It took him quite a bit to get past you guys working together. I like to see that, of course. Some people would say, you know, that's not really that great race driving when you're kind of blocking a driver, but as Xander said before there in the interview, he's just kind of waiting for one of you guys to make a mistake, and that tends to happen sometimes, isn't it, when you have two teammates side by side trying to work together there and try to help each other. And
yeah, I think in this league we try to just race each other. We're not on comms, and because it's kind of not in the spirit of the league. So Corey and I will race each other. We've had a tangle before, and you know, we'll give each other space, obviously, but I don't believe there was too much holding up of Xander. I think it was more holding the position for yourself, you know, and having a good battle. He's a great racer, and it's a great opportunity to fight with someone of that skill level. And you get better when you've got someone like that in your mirror. You know, you get better at working out how to be fast.
So, no multi-21s?
No, there were none there. We weren't in chat or anything. Corey came in at the last second, and it was like, yeah, let's just race.
Yeah.
I think Corey
Like, you
went
know,
easy
like,
on the
you know,
last lap.
I will openly admit that I was trying to hold Xander up a little bit when Sam was in front, but he's a classy driver. You tell by his iRacing, he's super quick, and he was coming up either which way. Anyway, but yeah, definitely no comms between Sam and I the whole race. So, just great fun, really, and can't wait to do it again.
Good to see you guys. Of course, Blackout Motorsport. So obviously, Blackout Motorsport New Zealand team, but Blackout Motorsports, I believe, is in Brisbane, Australia. So how's that relevant? Do you have a Blackout company as well too? To do all your electrical work in New Zealand, or is it just in Brisbane, Queensland?
It's just up here in Brizzy, us Sparkies. Yep. But Sam and I both obviously born in NZ.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Actually, we have to obviously have a shout out to the support for the sponsor for the league, and of course, I tell you what, I call you guys the All Blacks, of course, referring to the New Zealand rugby team. You're definitely racing like you were in a rugby team, so it's good to see. Fantastic livery as well, too, guys, on the cars.
Thank you.
It's all Sam. Sam's the brains behind anything technical and livery-wise, and I just turn up, really, and hang off his coattails.
Excellent.
And Corey helps me be fast.
Well, it worked either way, because you guys had gained a couple of places, 4 positions and 2 positions gained, and you got yourself a podium. So keep up the good work.
You too, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, congrats, Xander, mate. That was awesome. Great racing, bud.
Thank you.
Here we go. There we have the Blackout Motorsports New Zealand guys, and of course Xander Reed, our winner, our 2-time winner here this evening. Biggles, give me one sentence to sum up this evening.
Pineapple.
Oh no. Oh no,
Yeah,
he did not
said
just
it.
say
Oh,
that.
one sentence. Okay, one sentence. Pineapple on pizza. Let's go Monza. Can we do this every day? No, we have to go, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but of course we will be going to your neck of the woods. This is more than one sentence
Oh,
now,
yes.
Dan.
About 20 minutes away for me, so I'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll have a track guide at the Real Zolder circuit for next week, something that we maybe can work on. Let's see what we can do. Maybe something fun to look forward to.
Absolutely. You want to wrap it up, Dan, for the fantastic
Yeah,
production
there you
work
go.
you've been doing here for the JP Broadcasting Network? Of course, James himself was actually casting much more racing this weekend. Absolutely jam-packed full of racing. I think we've got endurance racing too, so I'm to sleep at some point. So will you, Dan? That'll be a
Well, if
cracker.
you want to know what we have on for the rest of this week, of course, James is now doing the triple bypass Gen 4, so he's still busy. If you want to go and watch that, of course, go to the channel, subscribe yourself so you never miss any action, and turn on the bell so you get notified once we go live with some more racing action. If you want to see what James is doing, head to the channel, and there you will find the other live stream from the Triple Bypass Gen 4 League. Of course, tomorrow, or today for me even, the SRL TCR final round at Road Atlanta Short. Then on Saturday, we have the PEC 6 hours of Road America and the VWSC Historic on Silverstone. On Sunday, we have the PCUP Round 3 at Monza, of course, the Europe Global one. And then also on the Sunday evening, the Radical Sim Racing Endurance Europe, 90 minutes, of course. And then also the IGP Fun Round 3 at Hockenheim. So a lot of driving on Sunday and Saturday. Looking forward to that one. Thank you, Biggles, for being in the booth once again together with me. It's been enjoyable. The Temple of Speed, once again, looking to come back. But without pineapple on pizza, I don't think it goes together. It's fruit on a pizza, which doesn't, in my eyes, belong there. Anyways, thank you all for watching. It's been amazing to have you around once again. Like I said, subscribe yourself to the channel. But that's it, lads, for this evening. I'm going to thank you all for watching. Until next week, good night.
Thank you.